Happily ever after doesn't mean a little satisfied and a little satisfied and then a little more and then a little more and then a little more and then a little more. Happily ever after means satisfied now and satisfied now and satisfied now and satisfied now. Satisfied with the quieted mind. Oh, yes. And satisfied with the emotion that moves through. Yes, yes, yes. And satisfied with that first thought. Juicy. Oh, so good. And satisfied with that impulse. Love this impulse. Yes, 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 yes. Satisfied, 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 satisfied. Sure, it manifested. Satisfied, 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 satisfied. Sure, it manifests. Satisfied, 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 satisfied. And satisfaction always means what? It means one thing and one thing only. In tune with what source knows, you see. Find yourself in satisfaction and identify it and isolate it and know what the feeling feels like, and then let that be your sort of standard of what you're reaching for. When you catch things in those early stages, then law of attraction does all the work. If you feel a little satisfaction, and just because you do, we'll demonstrate this with you here in a minute, then the law of attraction is responding to this resistance-free vibration. And when the law of attraction is responding to a resistance-free vibration, it gains momentum quickly, and then you feel the inspiration to move in the direction of it. Now we're going to give you a statement that as you hear it and sort of let it settle in, this is the basis of where your new belief and understanding is going to come from. We're going to speak it clearly and probably loudly, if we know Esther, when she gets hold of one of these impulses from us, and we're going to repeat it until you all really hear it and understand it. Satisfaction, which is what your inner being feels all the time about you, where you're going, who you are. Satisfaction on steroids. Satisfaction comes from one place and one place only, and that is moving in the direction of who you really are, moving in the direction of your desire. That's the only place it comes from. So what happens is you live in a world that has tried to motivate you to behavior about things that you don't feel satisfied about. Your parents want you to do what they want you to do, not what would satisfy you. Your employers want you to do what they need you to do, not necessarily what would be satisfying to you in the moment. And so you're having a rebellion inside of yourself, because most of you are sort of tired of pushing against your own flow. Does that make sense to you? Think about the difference in the way you feel on a morning that you're waking up to go on vacation or to go fishing or to go do something really fun, and the way you feel when you're waking up to go to work. And it's because the vacation is calling you, and when you point in the direction of that, there's no resistance. And so you're so clever, you're so fun, you're really on point, you remember what you need to bring, you think of clever things, you're working with others, the universe cooperates with you. But it sometimes doesn't feel that way when you're doing something that you really don't want to do. So here's our message to you: never do anything you don't want to do. Let's say there's one thing that really matters to you right now, and it's obvious what it is. And there are 4 things that are important to you that are already really feeling good to you. If you focus on any one of those things that easily gives you a feeling of satisfaction, you are doing the best work for the one thing that hasn't come into alignment yet. But that's not how humans' minds usually work. You want to take the problem and give your undivided attention to the problem. So you take the thing that is not satisfying and you hold yourself there in a not satisfied and therefore not connected state of being. It's natural in humandom. It just doesn't work. And so it really is about, not just about finding some distraction. Esther has been really enjoying this game of satisfaction to the point that she's pretty sure if anyone were traveling with her who didn't know her, or maybe even who did, they would have her committed, because sometimes she's talking right out loud about the things that are satisfying to her in the moment. She'll be walking down the ramp on the airplane saying, this is so satisfying. This is so satisfying. It's so satisfying. Sometimes she does the highway patrol thing that the highway patrol does in California, where they zigzag across all the lanes of traffic in order to slow everyone down. She does that with her bag. Because it's so much fun, and it makes everybody behind her wonder what she's doing. She just wants them to slow down and enjoy what's written on the walls in the ramp. There are lots of beautiful pictures and wonderful things. She's just sort of playing a game of satisfaction with life these days for no good reason other than it's sort of kind of fun. Just find any reason that you can find and practice it, and then those things become more and more and more satisfying until the one thing that isn't satisfying becomes irrelevant in the satisfaction game. So what we're asking of you is to not play a reality game. We're asking you to play the satisfaction game, because there's a lot that's satisfying, isn't there? There's a lot that's satisfying. It's a remarkable chair that you have. That has to be so satisfying. You can move that thing in amazing ways. That has to be so satisfying. And it minds you. It does what you ask it to do. It was precisely created with you in mind. It is like a really good friend. It is so satisfying. So you can just feel the satisfaction of the maneuverability of that magnificent machine that is moving around with you. And you can't feel satisfaction about that and dissatisfaction about something else at the same time. It's not possible. So then it turns out, because everything you want's in your vortex, and the only thing that keeps anybody from the full manifestation, the complete manifestation of anything that's in the vortex, is resistance that you've practiced. Well, when you stop practicing resistance, not because you don't have a reason to, you do, but because there are more satisfying things that are occupying what you're focusing upon, then those improvements that you're talking about, those things that are amazing that you're talking about, those ideas that begin occurring to you, the reception between your capable and agile mind, your capable and agile ability to receive the thought of your source. Once those receptors are constant, every other receptor in your body kicks in. That's big stuff. But if you get the cart before the horse, if this matters so much that then it clogs up that, then that's clogged up and that improvement doesn't happen. Helpful?
Yeah, you had
We've been telling people for quite a while, we want you to be happy anyway. And sometimes they can hear it, they don't like it, but they take that to mean satisfied even though I don't have money, satisfied even though I don't have my life partner, satisfied even though. That's what they think they're hearing us say. It's not what we're saying. We're saying satisfied, not even though, satisfied. Satisfied because, not satisfied in spite of. There's a difference. Satisfied because of these things, not satisfied in spite of these things. Satisfied. They don't want to hear it, so we're asking you, be satisfied anyway. Well, that's kind of like in spite of. Satisfied for this reason and this reason. And as momentum picks up on those things that you're satisfied about, then all kinds of things come into place, because there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. You are here in this physical body as an extension of source energy. Source energy is the energy that creates worlds. Source energy is powerful energy, wanting to work on the behalf of all of you. But you've got to find a way to release the resistance that is not allowing you the reception of what source is offering. Just soft and gentle, real easy. Not making a big deal out of it. Don't start to write your tell-all book about how you got up and walked already. In other words, just be satisfied. Because if you were to write the true book of this recovery, the first 99% of it would be so boring no one would read it. I ate a grilled cheese sandwich today and it was so good. Really? Chapter 1? you're just in this place of satisfaction with where you are and a true eagerness for more. But the eagerness for more is not taking you out of alignment. Sometimes you get so eager for something more than what is that you become dissatisfied. It's a sort of an art, isn't it, to be satisfied and eager for more without the eagerness for more making you dissatisfied. That's the art right there, isn't it? And it takes focus. It takes willingness to appreciate and willingness to be open. And most of all, you know what it takes? A willingness to not be mean to yourself, a willingness to not beat up on yourself, a willingness to see yourself like your inner being sees you, as expansive and growing and becoming and really imperfect, in the sense that you never get it done. There really is no perfection, because that implies endedness, and there will never be that. There's only more and more and more and more and more. So the only criteria, moment by moment going forward, is how do I feel now? 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 Esther spent a week or two after we began talking about satisfaction in this way, asking herself, what is that feeling of satisfaction that Abraham's talking about? So she started wanting to be aware of it. And then she'd get into her car, beautiful new Cadillac Escalade, and she'd get out onto the highway and sort of just settle into the road and the ride and just feel excellent. She'd just feel like, whew. And she thought, this is what satisfaction is. It's this feeling of adventure and calm and well-being and eagerness. I am so satisfied. I'm so satisfied. She got on an airplane one day and she was in the first class cabin. So she slipped into her seat and she thought, satisfied. And then she sort of settled in and buckled up, and now the plane's in the air, and she reclines her seat and she gets her blanket and her pillow, and she's thinking, oh, I am so satisfied. I'm so satisfied. I'm so comfortable. I'm so satisfied. This is just satisfying. And then a flight attendant came to her just as she was putting her sunglasses on and getting ready to snuggle in for a long winter's nap, and he handed her a bottle of water, and he said, I heated this for you in the microwave. I thought it might make you more comfortable. And Esther thought, wow. Well, first she thought, do I look old and feeble? And then she thought, oh, no, this is because I'm so satisfied that the universe is looking for other cooperative components to help me feel even more satisfaction. She'd be in a restaurant, slip into the booth, friends across the table, she'd look at their faces, she'd feel such love for each one of them, and she would think to herself, this is so satisfying. So satisfying. The fragrances in the air, and the leather that I'm sitting on, and the friends that I've gathered with, and the entire atmosphere of my life, it is so satisfying. And there are plenty of times to do that, but until you start doing it, identifying it, isolating it, milking it, finding the vibrational frequency of it, now you know what you're tuning to. You see what we're getting at? So then you're satisfied, 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 satisfied. And when something's off, you feel that it's off, and you don't let it get off until you establish such a substantial, chronic pattern of connection to source, to the path of least resistance, that then only cooperative components to who you really are and what you really want can come to you. And then other people look at you and they say, it's not fair. Good stuff comes to you, and mostly only good stuff comes to you, and the rest of us are out here, and you know why. It's not some crapshoot. It's not some law of averages. It's not some game of chance or luck. It's not some karmic game where you're being cursed or somebody's doing a voodoo on you. You're in complete control. And what is the control? Right here. Satisfied or not satisfied. Before I push my car down the hill, I come to my senses and I find my alignment. And when that's what you do, next time we see you, you'll say, hi, Abraham, I don't do anything I don't want to do, but there's so many things I want to do. Having such a good time.